I'm seeing how to stay up to date with all new technologies while making sure he has mastered his foundation. Give us 3 advices. So who is this for?
Orhan. And we
Orhan,
can,
buddy.
yeah, Orhan can mention 3 advices, and then each of us can add 1 more to be generous.
All right,
for all
Orhan, here you
the.
go, buddy. This one's for you.
Oh, so for me, this one, okay, based on what? If we are talking on CCDE, so we need to know what are the topics, technologies they are focusing on in the CCDE example. Other than that, based on technology, we can maybe talk from the real life point of view, maybe that what you should support in your company or for your customers, etc. So shall I answer for the CCD exam? Because I need to.
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine.
Good news is the technologies we know what are the focus technologies are there, at least those who are maybe providing trainings, let's say, because their the students are attending to the exams, they are getting, of course, the feedbacks, etc. So since the number of technology may be limited, hence to I mean,
You're breaking again, Orhan.
Yeah, you're breaking up. I was just going to say something.
Try again.
I think you might be having some internet issues or bandwidth issues or something.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it. Yeah. Maybe you can turn off your videos.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Orhan, try just turning your video off. And,
maybe. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Watch it. Yeah, we got you.
Better now. Yeah.
Better now.
Yeah.
Sorry for that. Okay. Let's very fast start again. I was saying CCD point of view or real life point of view, because CCD, at least the number of technologies are limited. I mean, we know what are those, at least those who provide the training, I was saying, because their students are attending the exam and then they are getting the feedback. Now, from that aspect, at least people might have a chance if they are preparing for the CCDE to stay up to date. Otherwise, let's be honest, there are just so many technologies that we cannot stay up to date with all of them. We are not Superman, so we cannot. But what you can do, yeah, I mean, from CCD aspect, at least you have a chance, because maybe 20, 30 technologies, maybe a little bit more or less, whatever. But from those technologies, from many abilities aspect, you need to understand how to compare them. If you are doing migration, how to migrate. There are, of course, a couple migration methods in each time, and each one has pros and cons. You should learn those design tricks, etc. But in real life, there are much more technologies. My preference usually, okay, if in my company, if I am supporting, let's say ACI, okay, Cisco, but in CCD exam it's not there. Of course, because in your company you have to support, you need to know that technology and you need to stay up to date with the technology. So which means the real life, your customers or your company is pushing you to learn those anyway. Other than that, if you have still time, okay, so I think you should study, research, understand, learn more on whatever you like. Okay, so whatever you like. For example, let me give an example: mobility or 5G. 5G, let's say, is not maybe your domain. You are not working in the mobile environment. 5G is not the concern, at least right now, in CCD also. What else? In real life, maybe again, as I told you, you are not working in the mobile networking company. But still, you might be interested with it. Okay, go if you have time, research, join some webinars. There are lots of books on that. Read in this way. I mean, guys, there is, unfortunately, you need to spend time, you will be good. I mean, you can be smart, obviously, but without studying, without spending time, Unfortunately, this is not Matrix. Nobody will give you a pill and then get all the knowledge automatically. Of course, real life is totally different. You need to spend time. Nobody is Superman. I am sitting still minimum, maybe average 5 hours just for research. And I love it. If you don't love, you cannot learn anything, unfortunately. If someone is telling opposite, it is cheating. Is there a real cheating in real life? Yes. For example, you can pass the CCD is a little bit hard, but in 2015, some people even passed with some damp, etc. But anyway, the long story. Other than that, if you want to learn something, you need to spend time, you need to love it. And my advice is, time, and whatever you like, find it and spend time. You cannot be master on many things at the same time. Again, you are not Superman. So which means technical depth and breadth discussion again. If you want to be a good designer, you need to have this breadth knowledge. Lots of technologies, maybe high level, how they with each other. If I choose something here, if I tweak something, if I change something, how it will affect the entire system. So those why we say holistic approach, because holistic means lots of parts interacting with each other. How you can understand the effect of those interactions. That doesn't require much depth knowledge. Sorry, I spent a bit more time than you allocated.
Okay. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Daren, do you want to add an advice, or Stuart?
Yeah, I'll dive in there quickly. Who knew, right? I think it is. Oh, come on. I had a conversation on Twitter recently with partly from something that Daniel had put out there about the fact that we all feel masses of pressure to try and learn everything. And so, and Zig, right? We mentioned at the very beginning of the call, there is always that thing of just you just want to throw yourself into this stuff and just soak it up through your pores, basically, because we're geeks and we love the technology and we do the things we do. There's a temptation to just throw yourself into it and just go trying to learn everything. And no one can do that. You are going to kill yourself if you try and learn everything, because there is too much to do. So I think it's important.
Hey, I'm going to learn everything. I'm going to learn everything. No,
I'm going to live forever and learn everything. Yeah, we always said, actually, it's something we always used to say on the CCIE is when you get your CCIE, you only really start to realize what it is that you don't know, right? When you've got that far. Because you've gone into this gory depth and you think you know everything, you come out at the end of it and you go, oh, but I don't know about that, and I don't know about that, and I don't know about that, and I don't know about that, because there is just too much to learn. So yeah, never think that you've mastered everything, as Orhan just said. But I think for me, focus is important, right? Because if you try and learn lots of different things all at the same time, what you're going to do is scratch the surface on those things and never really understand anything. So it's important to set yourself a learning focus, that you've got one thing that you want to concentrate on and learn at any given point in time, but to give yourself enough time to learn other things around that if you need to at the point. So if you've got something you need to do for a specific project or whatever, you just got a couple of hours a week or whatever that you've just got allocated to nothing, so that you can give yourself a bit of breathing space. But you know what the most important thing is to make sure you've got time to live as well, on top of it. You've got friends and family, are most important things in the world. So make sure that you don't just allow yourself to be completely consumed with trying to learn all these different things. Focus on one thing, make space to have other things, and have a life. That's for me, that's how you stay up to date and how you keep on with this.
So we can't just be all about technology and not have a life. That's what I got there, right?
Yeah.
So that's no. I'm being sarcastic, all right? Like this is a trap that we all fall in, right? This is
of course.
We all fall in.
Of course.
And so
because we're passionate
mindful.
about this technology, and that's the point. You know, it's
But
about
also,
balancing that
also,
passion.
It's easy. It's easy for our minds, and this is me just talking it out loud, right? Like, it's easy for me personally to focus on technology than focus on family or health or the other things in life. I personally am attached to technology. I'd rather do something that's easy than hard, right? And technology is easy for me, and I'm sure that's a lot of us. Technology is easy, and sometimes the family stuff and the health and the home stuff is hard. So you have to keep it level. You have to keep it level. You have to be honest, and you have to be real. Technology is not everything, right? This stuff is not everything. Sorry, that was my soapbox.
I think was it Stuart who mentioned earlier about the sort of work-life balance thing? Stuart, are you still with us?
Yeah, dude, I'm still here. I'm soaking this up like a sponge. Yeah.
Yeah, he's soaking it all in, man. He's soaking it all in.
You nailed this earlier when you said this about the fact that work-life balance, because it's different for everybody, I guess.
It's called work-life harmony. Work-life harmony.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice word.
Yeah, the way that I think about this is, I mean, if something happens in your work life, let's say you get a promotion, and you say in your job, if you get a promotion, if you get made redundant, does that impact your personal life? Well, yeah, it does. If something happens in your personal life, you know, say for example, loss of a loved one, or you know, your car breaks down, so you know you're not able to get into the office. You know, does this, or your internet goes offline? You know, so we're all working from home now. Does that impact your work life? Yes. So separating the two, you have to, like you said, you have to find that harmony. For me, they both go, you know, they go hand in hand. And you know, I would be lying if I said that if I didn't have, you know, something went wrong within my day, I had a bit of a poopy day, you know, do I take my problems out and take them into my home life? You know, that can happen. My wife's actually in the background nodding, like seriously, right now. And then, you know, but if something happens in, you know, my personal life, do I bring that into my work life? If something goes wrong, you know, in the morning and stuff, you know, like the dog pees on the rug or something like that, does it make me sort of like a bit sort of, you know, upset coming into my work? Yeah, it does. You know, so these two, you know, our work and our life are tied really, really closely together.
And more so now than ever, right? Yeah.
More so than ever. And it's difficult, you know, we're all working from home. I work from my kind of kitchen table. And so this is, you know, where we have a lot of our meals as well. So the chair that I'm sat in now, I also, you know, it's, you know, I could get like a toilet roll holder next to me here, and I don't even have to move. You know, from the spot 24 hours a day. You know, everything just kind of comes into me, and you know, you need that, as you were mentioning, you need that separation. I started playing guitar again recently, which I hadn't done for a number of years, and that's just been this huge outlet for me because I'm using this different part of my brain, a completely different part of my brain to what I do when I'm at work. So
you know, sometimes sometimes I think of myself like a bare metal server, and I need to install multiple virtual machines. So Mohamed the engineer, Mohamed the father, Mohamed the runner. So Daren and Zig were wearing their hat. I didn't have something to wear, so I got my marathon medal. Yeah. So I used to
absolutely. And I believe that. It is, it's totally like that. I mean, it's that, you know, when I go to the gym, I walk in the gym, it's sort of like 100% it's focused on what I'm doing. When I've got my headphones on, I'm playing my guitar, I was just going to say, focused on what I'm doing.
You just put the Rocky
same with work
on, and that's it, isn't it, for you, Stuart?
Yeah, you do. You do. Yes, you do put the Rocky theme on. You wouldn't believe the amount of times
I've seen the tweets. I've seen the tweets. This way.
Well, I am the underdog. I'm champion of the underdog. So
No, so continue your sentences. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, so I wanted to answer your question. So you know the question on the screen. It's always difficult going after Daren to answer the question. So it's you know how we stay up to date with new technologies and you master your foundation. I said something once that I think was very powerful and people resonated with, is that when I learned to do automation, I learned to do automation to help me with my day job. And that's where I stopped. I wasn't ever going to be a full-time coder, full-time dev. I still wanted to remain a network engineer that could do automation. That's what I wanted to keep doing, because that's what I love. I love networks, and I love automating networks. The two go, again, synergy of the two, keeping them together, moving them forward. But then when you talk about the new foundation, it really is difficult to not to get caught in that little squirrel moment. And I'm not going to lie, we was mentioning it before on the call, I see something that's kind of interested in me, I'll take a read of that. But I'm conscientious about how much time I'm spending on this and whether I can actually use this within my what I want to do. So I've got kind of what I'm interested in. It's a kind of a hobby kind of thing, but what I can do within what I'm doing within my role. So here I am, I'm learning Python. This is all really great. And somebody starts talking about K8s or something. They start talking about Docker. Okay, how do I encompass my Python learning and join these two subjects together? Can I mesh them together? Because we do know that they will complement each other. I can do automation with Python to start spinning up new services, to start deploying new CSRs or something like that. I can use these two together. So I'm keeping my foundation within Python, but I'm learning how Python can automate my foundational topics, my network topics. I'm learning how that all pieces together. And that's how I keep my new technologies and my foundation solidly locked together to build on top of my foundation. Think about myself like a house. I want to add an extension. I want to add a pool. I want to add a sauna or a hot tub. I know Darren's got all of these things at his mansion. And so what I do is I look about how they will sit and think. And if, for example, my 20-car garage isn't going to sit on my 2-bedroom semi-bungalow, I don't need that. I can look at it, but I don't need it. And that's how I think about it. I think everything which is just going to enhance what I already know, build on what I already know, and enhance the skills that I have. That's my 3 advice on that one.